Another Saturday, another playbook review coming your way. This one a recent favorite that really caught me by surprise with the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. We used them, I think it was episode 96 of the campus tour about a week and a half ago or so, and I fell in love. I love this playbook. I think it's got everything in there, no matter how you want to play. There's nothing specific you really need to make this offense work, in my opinion, and that's why I included it on our Christmas Day video about the easiest offenses to run in this game. You don't need a fast quarterback. You really don't need much with a playbook like this. I was wildly impressed with Rutgers. So if you haven't seen our full gameplay using this offense, like I said, it was episode 96 of the campus tour. Maybe I'll include the link on here somewhere. That's what a smart person would do, but no one's ever accused me of being a smart man. So let's just hop into practice mode, and I will break down exactly why I love this playbook and think everybody should give it a shot. There are really four main categories here that this playbook falls into, these different formations that I like so much. We will start with the gun doubles. We do have some 2-3 tight end stuff even here with wing tight and deuce, but we've got gun doubles, doubles off close, doubles Y off, doubles Y off weak with some normal off close, normal Y off. Very similar types of formations, but I've always been a big fan of these doubles with, you know, 2 receiving threats on one side, 2 on the other, with a halfback back there. I think it gives you a lot of flexibility, a lot of good things we can do. So we'll run through these doubles formations really quick, and right off the bat, we got some fun stuff. 2 very good pass plays here with drag under and angle smash for that tight end going on a little out route there. The angle route slipping in right over the middle of the field. Now, QB power, maybe, you know, you don't need a fast quarterback to run the Rutgers offense, but it wouldn't hurt with plays like QB power in their gun doubles and drag under, just drag routes in general. You can't go too wrong with any sort of drags. And a sharper corner route on our tight end, very good against man coverage. Elsewhere in this playbook, you had a good old Y sail. It's not as good as it was last year. It's not as good as it is out of like a normal Y off close. Just the alignment of the receiver out on that streak makes it work a little bit better, but still, just as a base play, it is very, very good. Any kind of flood concept, which is what this is over to the right there, where you have the streak pushing zones back deep, or man, whatever defense it is. Then you have the flat route from your halfback, kind of keeping zones down, opens things up for our tight end on that corner route. Essentially, it's just, you know, you got a deep zone guarding the streak, and then you have an intermediate zone. It's got to pick between the tight end or the halfback. You can't guard both of them. We love those kind of things. Also, sneaky little speed option out of gun doubles. You don't really see that in too many other doubles formations. Got to have a classic inside zone. PA comebacks, not really for me. But things like flank or drive, I love that. We have a kind of a fade kind of streak. It's a kind of a reverse fade, because I guess a fade goes towards the sideline. This isn't a straight streak. It's kind of breaking more towards the middle of the field, but then we get a high-low here between B and A2 going into the space created by having that streak over there on Y. Maybe you could throw a post on A instead. I just like that better for the spacing on the high-lows. Instead of having a drag and an in route, one user can kind of guard both of those. If you do a drag and a post, they're much further apart, much more stress on the defense. So anything that's stressing the defense, that's good for us. And mesh is always going to be a good call. You could never go wrong with any sort of mesh concept. We got a mesh spot out of here. Drags from slot receivers and tight ends especially are so difficult for defenses to guard. Now we get one of both in this mesh spot. Sometimes, you know, they will read the coverage. Typically, if it's zone, they are going to kind of sit more towards the middle of the field. Man, they're going to keep running, but either way, they're getting open. They're just absolutely getting open. So just regular gun doubles, a very, very good formation Rutgers has. We also have doubles off close. Got a sneaky little RPO in here. Corner strike, I'm not a huge fan of those. Slip screen, not a huge fan of those either. But we can see another flood similar to the Y sail we had in regular doubles, but this one with an out route on our tight end. We still have the flat on the halfback and a streak on B. Then the defense notices what we're doing over to the right there. They all kind of fly over to help out with that in route, or if you want to put a corner on your tight end, that's when you get the sneaky little dig also coming from Y. After everybody vacates the middle of the field to go help out to the right, that's going to leave some open space right over the middle. Inside zone, always going to be a good thing to have in here. Only 6 plays in their doubles off close. Now doubles Y off. Now this is a real sneaky RPO, because really you don't expect RPOs out of a 2x2 set. Typically those are going to come in a 3x1, so you can have 2 blockers out when you throw the RPO. So having an RPO bubble out of something like doubles Y off, really good way to catch some people off guard. Red zone scissors. So when is this? This is coming out Saturday. In tomorrow's campus tour with the Minnesota Gophers, we do try red zone scissors. I have had a bit of a personal vendetta against this play just because I could never get it to work in College Football 25. I kind of gave up on it, started to openly talk negatively about the play, but I know we've had a few people commenting about how good the play is. We try it. You might have won me over. You'll have to watch tomorrow's campus tour to see if we win the national title with Minnesota and see if we can score a touchdown running red zone scissors. But it's a good option to have here in the doubles Y off. A few different jet motion plays, an actual jet touch pass, a jet pass fake zone, faking the jet. It's just a zone right up the middle, and the jet pass kind of play action going into the fake jet halfback seam. All goes. Always a nice thing. Of course, you're probably going to hot route some things around there to really make all go viable. So that's doubles Y off. We got one more doubles formation, doubles Y off weak now with our halfback on the opposite side of our quarterback here. This read Y flat is interesting. I'm actually going to check something on this really quick while we're here. Can we hot route Y on this? We can. Okay, so that, because I just didn't like that kind of orbit motion he was in. Kind of maybe send him on a streak, so whoever's guarding wise hopefully going to go back and follow him and open things up, because this tight end should get pretty wide open against a lot of things. Even there with the defensive end kind of standing there watching, he didn't really have much of a chance. And does this actually ever get open? Oh yeah. Yeah, it sure does. Let's keep one just as is and see how this goes, but I think I like the streak idea a lot. Yeah, it's just some wild motion going on over there. Yeah, that's just too much for me. It's just too much going on. It's hard for me to tell where the defenders are staying. Are they staying down on Y? Are they staying for RB? If we throw it to RB, are they going to react in time? I don't know. I think I like just clearing him out with like a streak or something like that. Then we got a pretty good money play. I love the read Y flat RPOs with the tight end or whoever, I think it's almost always a tight end, is going from one side of the formation to the other. I think those work a lot better than like the Y off trips one, where the tight end's on the right and then the RPO's just going to the right. I think that's a little too easy, a little too obvious for defenders to try to stop compared to when he's crisscrossing the formation. Like in that one, doubles Y off week, we also got some double post. That's a nice little play, kind of some deeper routes over on the left, sneaking a deep crosser on our tight end in there. As long as we get time, we should have either A on that or potentially even the deep dig. The little kind of check and release by our halfback is nice to have back there as well. See, there's another RPO read Y flat, this time with the X and Y just kind of staying put, but still getting that same idea of our tight end going from the right to the left, which I like a lot better. Elsewhere, let's see if we got anything else really going on in here. RPO read Y flat. Okay, this one looks kind of wild. I think we got to give that one a shot here. RPO read Y flat, where Y is coming in motion and going on a wheel route over to the right. Yeah, is this... And then you can just kind of try this. Okay. Try to throw that quick, but our blocking wide receiver over there, Mr. Hillary Duff, kind of got in the way of that one. A lot of potential. A whole heck of a lot of potential on this one. So you got the tight end sneaking over to the left, or Sheffield out on an RPO. See, that time they follow Sheffield, so then we just go to our tight end. Oh, man, I don't know if I should show this play. This one's kind of nasty. So we just look over to the right first. Can we throw that? Yes, we can. So we just snap throw that right away. And that's an easy 10 yards because that wide receiver is getting down like 10 yards down the field to throw that block. Interesting. I'll have to remember that one for later because we are going to use Rutgers in our online dynasty, but later in the season. It's going to be a few more weeks. Doubles Y off week, RPO read Y flat. Just something to keep in mind. But that's about it for our different doubles formations. We do have normal Y off close week and normal Y off week. These I think are mostly fine. Some good stuff in here, that chip wide receiver corner, I kind of like the looks of that. Comeback Z post, POY cross. So still some red zone scissors. Still some good stuff in there. But we're going to move on to a little more Rutgers specific thing about this playbook, and that is their tight slots formations. They've got two of them, tight slots and tight slots halfback weak. We see that kind of moves where our tight end is lining up here too. He's more attached to the line in halfback weak than he is in regular old tight slots. And I do like halfback weak a little bit better. I just don't love the passing options out of the regular tight slots formation, except for mesh switch. That play is phenomenal. There's not really a traditional mesh, you know, we have a drag coming from B, but then that's more of a shallow cross going on X, so he's getting a little bit deeper down the field. We have a fade over there on A and a sharp corner down on Y, so this play just stock as is should be able to beat almost any kind of coverage a defense is coming out in. We'll have that corner out for man between the drag or the shallow cross or the fade for a lot of zones, even press man that fade if we got the right guy in the right spot, which Rutgers does have a 96 speed wide receiver. Has potential to get over the top and make some things happen here. But other than that, I mean, we have bench, which is fine. Drive trail, just a little too much going on over the middle for me. I do like the idea of B and A kind of dragging the defense a little bit more to the left and open things out for that trail Texas type of route our halfback is on. But I think this formation is going to do a little bit better for the running. You got a few different jets and fake jets and halfback sweeps to try to go outside, a quick base with a right guard pulling to the left of just a regular inside zone. The only thing really missing here is like if we could get a halfback run or maybe even like a speed option or something going out to the right. We do have the jet pass to go out to the right, but obviously with that motion going on a little, the defense is going to key in on that one a little bit. So the tight slots, a couple, I mean, you could hot route some things out of PA seam. I think that's got some good things in there. Same with the zone fake jet, but just a couple decent passing options, but the runs out of here I think are really good. Then we also have tight slots halfback weak, which this is definitely my favorite of the two right away because we have something like post wheel drag. The drag on our tight end there, a wheel route on Y, a post on X, and deep in on B, just a great little combo. You could put B on something else just for the drag and in combination I'm not a huge fan of. It almost reminds me a little of, what is it, slot drive out of tight open. Just a really good play, can stretch the defense all sorts of different ways without having to really do any hot routes or anything like that. Now, running wise, I mean, X-Dig's another good pass play. We do have an inside zone. We don't really, I mean, you have the read option to potentially, and you do have a draw. I don't think I've ran a draw once in my entire life. But I've seen people do them and they look pretty good against the right kind of thing. But elsewhere in this formation, another good little RPO. You got double flats with RB and Y on this RPO, a curl on X and a slant on B. So you got a lot of options on that RPO. If you can make the reads that quickly, God bless you, brother. I certainly cannot. But then you get another mesh here. Mesh is always going to be good, especially out of these condensed formations. Really gives defenses a very hard time. So those are the two different tight slots formations. I think those are a big thing that actually help Rutgers kind of elevate to the next level a little bit. Some very easy, simple pass plays, some good run plays, just a lot of good stuff between those two. But it wouldn't be one of my favorite playbooks in the game if it doesn't have bunch strong offset. I love this formation. This is my crutch formation. It's still, in my opinion, this is the best formation in the game still. And Rutgers has a really good version of it. So the three things we're mainly looking for in a bunch strong offset: the run plays inside zone, which we have right here, duo, so two inside runs, but one going kind of behind your left guard, one kind of going between your center and your right guard. Defenses won't really be able to just shift their D-line or slant their D-line a certain way, because then duo is going to run right on past them. And then something like pin pull toss, if they're coming out in a double mug, mid blitz, a super condensed defense, getting something that we can pop to the outside, always a great option for us to have. Then there's three main pass plays we're looking for here too, and I think Rutgers has all of them. Number one being corner strike, which I think I have shown before, but I will show again just how good that corner route is against man coverage. We'll just throw them, we'll put them in a cover zero, like a linebacker blitz, so they're going to be sending 6 here. So we just can block our halfback, so we're blocking 6. I like to streak the point guy on the bunch side. In this case, Sheffield, just give us something else to look at, always be threatening deep, but really this corner route on Duff should do, yeah, look at how it just absolutely torches man coverage. They just have no chance to guard this and just cover zero man. Just absolutely burns right on by him. There's something about, I think it's because it's a little bit shorter and a little bit sharper. So let's see if I hot route a corner route on him, does that actually change? So right now he's running about 8 yards and going out. If we just hot route a corner, yeah, see the difference in that? So let's reset. Look at that corner route that he's on in corner strike versus a hot routed corner route. And you can see the difference. This one, it's running about 10 yards and is taking a much more relaxed angle towards that sideline versus just the base corner strike one. It's running about 8 yards and it's almost between a corner route and an out route. It's a much sharper angle. Destroys man coverage. If there's nothing else to take away from this Rutgers playbook, remember corner strike against man coverage. They have zero chance. The next play we want out of a good bunch strong offset is dagger. Of course, we're going to have that. I like to just put a post on A, so then we have a high-low between B running his drag and A on that post over the middle of the field. You can put a streak on your halfback too, and I know some people like to put a crosser on RB, so then you have all routes on the right going from right to left. I don't know. It's still very good that way. I'm just more comfortable with the way I do it. Believe it or not, the way I do it is the way I like to do it. Last pass play, slant spacing's not bad either, but the last really good one here is flood, which you can bomb coverages out of this if you just streak A and then like stem down a corner on RB. I typically don't do that. I'll just kind of leave things as is, especially if they're in any sort of drop zone coverage, cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, as long as it's not matching. That A route your tight end is on is going to get open because it's a much deeper corner route. No standard cloud flat or curl flat or anything like that is going to be following A all the way back there, where we also have B pushing everybody deeper. So flood against drop zone coverage, very, very good. Rutgers bunch strong offset, one of the best versions in the entire game because it has all 6 of the plays that we want out of a really good bunch strong offset. So now the last thing in Rutgers, so it's one last idea, it's a few different formations, is be all the fun things we have out of their different trips formations, and we'll start with Y off trio close. And this is a really good formation. It doesn't have a whole lot of plays though. It's only got 9 plays, but something like smash return, we'll just put them in whatever. With a streak on X, because of where he's lined up, he's not all the way out left like they typically are. He's a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage. Streaks are really good at finding soft spots in a lot of different coverages, cover 3s, cover 2s, cover a lot of things. We're going to be able to try to fit one in here to X, but if we can't, then we have the drag on A, kind of bringing all the defense over to the left, then opens up some space for that return route on Sheffield. So we're going to see if we can throw, I think we actually probably could have. Then we can just pass lead one down and away to Sheffield, who will run away from the defenders because he is like 94 speed, 93 speed, like shifty. He's really, really good. I just want to see if we can actually force one into strong here, right over his noggin. Takes a little heart, takes a little commitment to throw it sometimes, but a streak when they're lined up like this, because look at where 9 is compared from wing trio all the way out to the left versus Y off trio close. Streaks in that spot can do a very, very good job. Other than that, you do have a good little RPO in here, and flood, dash flood, I'm not the biggest fan of, but I do like having an outside zone run going over to the left to mix with an inside zone run and an 0-1 trap. So we have 2 inside runs, one going more to the left side of the line, one going more to the right, and an outside zone. I like that. We've got Y off trips. I think this is a pretty basic Y off trips that I think is in like every playbook. But see, this is the read Y flat I was talking about, with our tight end starting on the right and just going to the right flat. Like a hard flat from a slot corner is going to be all over that. Absolutely all over it. You know, compared to if he's going to the opposite side of the field. If I was playing against myself, I almost always hard flat the trip side. I very rarely hard flat the non-trip side. So if you're running it like in Y off trips, I'm going to have a hard flat there to defend it. If you're going to the opposite side, I'm not. So it's a difference. It's a big difference. We've also got trips tight end offset and trips tight end offset week. I think it's pretty dang rare to have both of them, at least from memory. Although I could be wrong about that. So in trips tight end offset, you got a good inside zone run. Tight end in is a great pass play. Verticals is always going to be good out of a trips tight end formation, especially against almost every type of zone, really. Because cover 3 for sure, you're attacking the seams there with Y. Cover 4, you should be able to either throw one quick to one of the seams, or A is going to get open eventually, because everybody's got to kind of follow those deeper routes going on the left there. Just all in all, can't go wrong with any type of verticals. The sneaky little speed option to throw in their trips tight end offset, and a beautiful RPO. I love this one because usually it's pretty easy to see if you're going to get this RPO alert bubble, if you're going to have space to actually throw it or not, just depending on how the defense is lining up. X under, very good against cover 0 man. We see more corner routes, tight end corner routes, also very, very good against man coverage. So something like level sail or X under. X under will give you a few more deeper options here with that corner route on A corner route on Y, and kind of an extended post there on B. But that's about it for their trips tight end offset. Now, trips tight end offset weak, which I like this better against match coverage because we have the 3 receivers on the one side and the halfback on that side, which match is really going to struggle against because they typically will only have, they only have a certain amount of zones on one side of the field. They're going to kind of have to pick and choose who they're going to be following, who they're going to be covering. Now, this verticals, if the verticals at a trips tight end offset is good, the verticals at a trips tight end offset weak is phenomenal. Because instead of A coming across our tight end, this would be our halfback leaking out of the backfield, going to a little out route over there where all the zones are going to be vacated because they're all following X, Y, or B. So it's usually a very easy check down, a very easy at least 10 yards to just go down to your halfback on that play. And another RPO read bubble, read Y corner, also going to be very good against cover 0 kind of thing. Same thing with middle slant. There's really a lot of good stuff out of both their variations of trips. With how much we've talked about this entire playbook, you could just bounce in between these two formations, trips tight end offset weak, for an entire game and be totally fine. This is why I love this Rutgers playbook, because you could just do that if you wanted to. You could just sit in bunch strong offset for an entire game if you wanted to. You could bounce between their doubles and only their doubles for an entire game if you wanted to. There's just, and add in some Y off trio close whenever you feel like it. I think that's what makes this Rutgers playbook so good, is that there are so many independently good formations that you could just rock in for an entire game and totally be fine, totally be able to win games. But then it's when you start combining all of them, coming out in some bunch strong offset, but then sneaking in a little trips tight end offset weak, then a little tight slots halfback weak, go to some trips Y slot strong. Why not? We get the 3 receivers and halfback on the same side again. Only 3 plays in this one though, which is kind of unfortunate. Then we have some trips Y flex with a play like inside attack, kind of taking that mesh concept, but this time it's between our halfback and A, and they're not on drags. They're on like in routes, which is just kind of wild, but it works. Post hitch post. That confused me for a second. I thought for sure I was reading that wrong. But we get the post on A, deep post on B, a little hitch in the middle there from the slot, all very good. Another sneaky speed option, a wide receiver smash, a corner strike. So between the variations of trips, we also have trips halfback weak. I mean, it just, this playbook never ends. The joys never end. There's so many pockets of this playbook that you could just sit in entire games and be 100% successful. We've ran games where we just stayed in bunch strong offset every single play, and it's worked great. We've had games where we pretty much stay in trips tight end, and it works great. Now we can actually bounce between all these really, really good formations all in one playbook, and that's why I love the Rutgers Scarlet Knights offense. I think this is good for just about anybody. You've got plenty of options to run, you've got plenty of options to pass, no matter how you want to play, no matter if you want to run 3 tight ends, they got a formation for that, 2 tight ends, they got some formations for that. Just overall a fantastic playbook, and one I'm very glad to have found. So let me know if you guys have tried Rutgers. What do you think of it, or are you planning on trying it? I certainly hope so. That means I kind of did my job of talking about a little bit of an off meta, different offense. I haven't heard too many people talking about it, but I don't pay that much attention to it either, so maybe it is meta, who knows. But let me know if you guys are going to give Rutgers a shot. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you had a great holidays here as well. I will see you guys next time. Until then, take it easy.